Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the program from the State Assemblies. On this program, we review legislative activities across the state houses of assembly in the country. On this episode, former Speaker and Deputy Speaker Bauchi State House of Assembly re-elected to lead the House. Jigawa State Assembly recommends the suspension of 4 council chairmen in the state, and Kebbi State Assembly approves nomination of 21 local government sole administrators in the state. These and many more stories will be bringing your way in a moment. I am Mitaire Ikben. Welcome back. Now let's start with Bauchi, where politics took a new dimension as former Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Abubakar Sulaiman, and his deputy, Jamilu Umaru Dahiru, were re-elected as Speaker and Deputy Speaker of the House after their victories in the last rerun election. Their re-election followed the stepping down of the last Speaker and his deputy. Nasiru Umar Tirwun reports.
My name is Honorable Babe Mohammed, and I have resigned my seat as the Speaker of Bauchi State, and I remain an honorable member of this House.
It is this formal resignation of the outgoing Speaker Babe Mohammed Akuyam and his Deputy Ahmad Abdullahi that has paved the way for the re-election of the new ones.
The nomination of no other person rather than that Honorable Jamil Umar Tahiru.
This motion was unanimously supported by the House members, leading to the emergence for the former Speaker and his deputy.
I, Right Honorable Abubakar Wise Kemal, do solemnly swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
After taking oath of allegiance, the new 10th Speaker has led the first plenary on a motion calling on Bauchi State government on the need to establish an acquisition center that will help in reducing the unemployment among youths.
As you all know, unemployment is one of the major problems in Nigeria.
Present this motion, those in favor of the ayes, those against the ayes have it.
Re-emergence of the former Speaker and his deputy was in a reconciliation manner as part of effort to ensure a proper political realignment in Bauchi State. From Bauchi State House of Assembly, Nasir Umaturun, NTA News.
And from Bauchi, we move to Jigawa, where the State Assembly recommended the suspension of 4 local government chairmen over alleged financial mismanagement. Ibrahim Sani reported that the decision on the 4 local government chairmen followed the House Committee's report of 27 local government areas in the state after oversight.
The House Committee on Local Government embarked on the oversight visit across the 27 local government councils in Jigawa State to assess the level of implementation of the 2022 and 2023 budget as approved by law. In the course of discharging these legislative duties, the committee, led by member representing Gwiwa at the State Assembly Aminu Zakari, allegedly discovered several irregularities, mismanagement and financial indiscipline which contravened the government desire to achieve prudent and transparent management of resources across the 27 local government councils in Jigawa State. Against this backdrop, 4 local government chairmen of Gumel, Ringim, Auyo and Dusi are suspended for alleged gross financial misconduct.
For the supposed allegation of misconduct, negligence of duties, and indicious spending of public funds without justification in line with the provision of Section 9 of the local government law.
The House also approved for Kazore and Goram local government chairmen to be issued with strong warning for defaulting financial memorandum. However, 2 local government chairmen of Guri and Taura are commended for their commitment in moving their areas forward. Thereafter, the House constituted a 15-member committee and directed them to work in synergy with Public Complaint and Anti-Corruption Agency of Jigawa State to investigate the suspended chairman and report its findings. In Dutse, Ibrahim Sani, NTA News.
Meanwhile, in Kebbi, the State House of Assembly approved the nomination of 21 sole administrators in the state as requested by Governor Nasiru Idris. Correspondent Usman Abdullahi Shehu filing the report.
The approval came following the Kebbi State Governor's request for the legislature's screening and confirmation of 21 sole administrators nominees. The nominees were invited into the chamber of the Assembly in batches and later asked to take a bow and leave without questioning. The Speaker Muhammad Usman Zulu, who announced the legislator's approval, charged the nominees to complement the present administration by changing the old narrative of their respective local government area.
Confirm and take a bow and go without questioning leaving this chamber. The three nominees are hereby confirmed and allowed to take a bow and leave this chamber quietly.
On behalf of the designates, the sole administrator of Fakay local government, Muhammad Sarkin Fawa, said the express approval will no doubt spur them to put in their best.
To choose us and appoint us as sole administrators of our respective local governments. So we thank Almighty Allah. We also thank Governor Nasir Idris Kaurangwandu for this well-deserved appointment he has given to us.
The 21 sole administrators have been sworn in by Governor Nasir Idris. In Brunei Kebbi, Usman Abdullahi Shehu, NTA News.
Now to the southern part of the country. The Cross River State House of Assembly granted the state government's approval of a credit facility worth 10.2 billion naira for the maintenance and rehabilitation of roads. Udwak Etim reported that the approval was made after due consideration of a correspondence sent to the House by the state governor requesting for the loan.
As the Cross River State government continues to execute laudable projects, paucity of funds is part of challenges frustrating the completion and project implementation plans. As such, Governor Basio too has decided to seek legislative backing to enable the state obtain a loan to address the decay in public infrastructure, including roads. It will be recalled that the Cross River State House of Assembly, during sitting on the 21st February 2024, received a request from the state governor to access loan. The letter signed by the Secretary to the State Government, Professor Anthony Waneno, was read by the Deputy Clerk of the House, Catherine Ubi.
The Honorable Speaker, Cross River State House of Assembly, Calabar, request for legislative backing for borrowings. I convey to Mr. Speaker and the entire legislature the warm regards and best wishes of His Excellency the Governor. Following the pursuit of capital projects to ameliorate the decay in public infrastructure, the executive awarded several contracts to build and rehabilitate roads in the state.
After adoption of the correspondence as a document of the House, the request was committed to the Finance and Appropriation Committee for detailed consideration.
Greatest thing that even happened to us in the choice of the street that are selected and constructed in Calabar. Our governor has proven that he's people's first governor because the streets that have been captured are streets that have been abandoned for over 10 or 20 years.
I can remember vividly, even when we came initially when inaugurated the Park to the Assembly, we know how assisting and struggle with that road. Moving people every day to make sure that is what's possible. And today, the government has all populated districts. And we can move through speed roads with ease.
The present government is doing very well, and I think that we should encourage them. The governor of Cross River State have started with the urban area. My own appeal is that it is good to develop the urban area first.
The chairman of the committee, Cyril Omini, recently reported back to the House, noting that the committee met with relevant stakeholders while highlighting committee's observation.
Mr. Speaker, after careful and thorough consideration of the terms and conditions of this transaction and the enormous benefits the transaction holds for the rehabilitation and maintenance of our road, which have been in a very deplorable state, the committee recommends as follows. Conclusion, Mr. Speaker. Permit me to thank members of this committee and the entire House for the prompt attention given to this request for the moment. It was late
The loan is expected to aid completion of the road rehabilitation that has already commenced.
The total look that Calabar is wearing today is something very commendable. Something very, very commendable. And I'm strongly believing that for this state government to come to ask for a loan, they would have hit the last cover in their profile before coming to ask for this loan. Whereas they had a little more, I know and I'm strongly believing that they would have pushed even further again. What the government of the day is doing, if every other governor in this country called Nigeria would do what the governor of Cross River State is doing, Nigeria will be a better place.
Part of the resolutions reached by the Cross River State House of Assembly is that upon completion of the said facility, updates on the road rehabilitation be laid before the State House of Assembly for information and necessary action, while relevant committee of the House will monitor implementation of this resolution and report back to the House accordingly. In Calabar, Uduak Etam, NTA News.
And still staying in the south, this time around the southwest, the Ogun State House of Assembly passed a resolution urging the state governor, Dapo Abiodun, to provide all necessary equipment and logistics that will enable security agencies carry out their responsibilities. This follows a motion of urgent public importance raised by Honorable Adeyonju Adegoke on the growing insecurity in the state. Yemi Dalemo filed in the report.
Worried by the incessant cases of kidnapping, murder, and ritual killings in some parts of the state, the lawmaker representing Yewa North Constituency 2, Adegoke Adeyonju, who sponsored the motion, called on the government, stakeholders in security management, and the Ogun State Security Trust Fund, as well as the private sector, to collaborate and procure security drone equipment for tackling the criminals. Other lawmakers in their contributions urged the government to procure the equipment and install solar cameras to track criminals.
I want to implore the PPR, Public Private Partnership, that we have given them, and security fund in Ogun State, that they should relax with this security agency. Instead, if they don't have this thing, they are just laboring in vain.
With this drone, they'll be able to cover so many areas. So I also want to use this period to appeal to our governor and the Ogun State Security Trust Fund to look into this area and get the needed equipment.
I want to advise, Mr. Speaker, that apart from the drone that is being mentioned by the first speaker, Honorable Awosho, that we can deploy another technology of solar camera, very important in our cities. Instead of all these cameras that are, all these solar lights that is being driven by generators and all, we can deploy this solar camera everywhere. And then it captures every movement of vehicular and all, and even pedestrians in our major cities.
I just want to implore the government to please continue to increase the effort. Not that they are not trying, but they have to continue to increase the effort. People of the organized private sector too, who are major players in the Security Trust Fund, should please come to the aid of this state. This thing cannot be handled by the government alone in terms of financial capability.
The lawmakers, shortly after the plenary, played host to Smart Road Transport Scheme operator, who is seeking to introduce the services of CNG-enabled mini buses to Ogun State roads, and the leaders of Cocoa and Cashew Farmers Association of Nigeria, who came to seek the support of the House towards improving their trade in the state. In Abuja, Yemi Dalemo, NTA News.
Still staying in the southwest, this time around from Ekiti State, we have a report that the State House of Assembly has taken steps to monitor unregistered estate and property agents whose activities have continued to create hardship for the citizens. This followed a matter of urgent public importance raised by member representing Ido-Osi State Constituency 1, Ayo Ogunrinde Ayodeji Ogunshaki reported that 3 other bills also received legislative attention at plenary.
Following the reported cases of overcharging on rents and other activities causing untold hardship on citizens by estate management and property agents, the lawmaker representing Idosi Constituency 2, Yomi Ayorinde, raised a matter of urgent public importance, calling the attention of the House for necessary action. The lawmaker decried the activities of some of those agents, most especially the outrageous charges on rent, a situation that has continued to have multiplier effects on the state economy. Other lawmakers, Tope Longe, Femi Akindele, and Babatunde Oke, said the increasing cases of unregistered estate management and property agents needed to be checkmate through appropriate legislation for the overall interest of residents in Ekiti State.
We cannot fold our hands. Research has shown that a good accommodation or a stable accommodation has a nexus to our health and to our general well-being, particularly mental well-being. If these activities of people continue like this, we don't know what will happen to our people. The complaints are everywhere.
Mr. Speaker, in line with what you have said, I think it is very important for us to make a law criminalizing the activities of some of these so-called rent agents. I think we also need to regulate the activities by making sure that they register. There must be a register of all rent agents in the state. So to direct that our rent law should be revisited in a way that rents and bills and allowances will be taken on monthly basis, because we have our salary, we receive our salaries on monthly basis. To the issue that we are discussing, the exploitative practices of estate agents in Ekiti State. We cannot overemphasize the burden that has placed on prospective tenants.
It was, however, resolved that the activities of the estate management and property agents must be criminalized, while the existing property law be amended. With this resolution, the Speaker, Adeoye Aribasoye, directed the appropriate committee to invite the leadership of the estate management and property agents in the state to an interface to address the identified anomalies. Also, at the plenary, the House passed the bill for a law to repeal the Legislative Power House into law, which defines the power and privileges of the legislative arm of government. The lawmakers also considered Ekiti State Local Content First Amendment Bill 2024 and Ekiti State Order of Precedence of Public Officers. The Ekiti State Local Content Bill seeks to prioritize indigenous participation in the execution of projects and enhance local content development. The 2 bills were later committed to the appropriate committee for further legislative actions. From the State House of Assembly, Ayodeji Ogunshaki, NTA News.
Similarly, the Oyo State House of Assembly is set to checkmate activities of real estate agents to protect unsuspecting customers from fraud and exploitation. This follows the adoption of a motion sponsored by Leader of the House and 2 other lawmakers during proceedings of the House. Correspondent Oyeyinka Omole reported on this and other businesses at plenary.
Part of the resolutions contained in the motion as presented by the Leader of the House, Sojo Adedoyin, was setting up of regulatory authority to register real estate agents in the state with a database, stop construction of buildings around mining and quarry sites, and put an end to fraudulent practices in procuring lands and buildings, among other resolutions.
Some estate agents in Oyo State are in the habit of collecting fees, such as registration fees, agency fees, agreement fees, caution fees, legal fees, and inspection fees, among several others.
This opened the floor for submissions from the lawmakers.
Not just anybody would think, since they are unemployed, they can become estate agents. So there should be measures to put in place for licensing of the estate agent.
Our friends that come from diaspora, that they want to pay for the land. And while they going there, otherwise it's totally wrong. What they put them, what they send to the video, what they show them online, is not what's on the site.
Can we have a place of a group or
where our people can report to if they were feeling cheated. So when the committee are working on it, I think it is necessary we have an agent or a place where we can report to.
But are these people really registered? Is there a means of bringing them together so that there will be proper monitoring of their activities?
There was a bill that we worked together with called Land Administration and Control Law that we did in the 9th Assembly. And we were able to pass through the 3rd stage. But if this law has not been assented to, definitely to curb the activities of these people will be outside the purview of the power of the states, because there's no law guiding us.
Speaker Adepo Ogundoyin agreed with the lawmakers to put all the submissions together towards identifying the real problems and challenges within real estate sector in the state.
Chairman of House Committee on Lands and Housing to call for the executive governor to assent the Land Administration and Control Bill, I believe. The assent of this law will put in place measures to negate unscrupulous agents for the real estate sector.
Earlier, messages from the state governor, Seyi Makinde, seeking approval for the nomination of Justice Tajuddin Muhammad as President, Oyo State Customary Court of Appeal, establishment of State Tertiary Education Commission, and review of the law establishing First Technical University to rename it after late former Governor Abiola Ajimobi was read by the Speaker. The requests were forwarded to relevant House committees for necessary actions in Ibadan. Oyeyinka Omole, NTA News.
You are watching the program from the State Assemblies on NTA Parliament, reaching you from the nation's capital, Abuja. We'll be back after this break. Don't go away.
Are you looking for a short channel to make your business, goods and services go viral? Look no further, as NTA Parliament is your short channel. Take advantage of our wider reach and advertise your products and services on NTA Parliament DSTV channel 370, GoTV channel 126, StarTimes channel 306, and Free TV channel 706. For more inquiries, contact the Marketing Department, NTA Parliament, NTA Headquarters Area 11 Garki, Abuja, or call these numbers 080-383-40464 or 080-770-78055. NTA Parliament, strengthening Nigeria's democracy.
Welcome back. Now let's move on to Nasarawa State, where the State House of Assembly passed 2 bills for assent by the state governor. They are the Nasarawa State College of Agriculture, Science and Technology Lafia Amendment Bill and the Nasarawa State Harmonization and Administration of Revenue Bill. The 2 executive bills are geared towards improving the state's internally generated revenue and to standardize education in the state. Adams Abdulkadri reports.
In a thorough deliberation on a report of the House Standing Committee on Education on the bill to establish the Wing Commander Abdullah Ibrahim Vocational and Technology Institute Lafia, mid drama ensued among the lawmakers. At the end of the day, meticulous analysis of educational needs, funding implications, audit account, and long-term societal impacts considerations substituted as they highlighted the complex interplay of educational policy, fiscal responsibility, and social welfare considerations.
After finding by the auditors, whether external or internal auditor, it is very important and pertinent to report back to the Auditor General of the state.
If you said it should be in the law, I have no problem with it, but we should also consider having all other laws that provide for the Auditor General to send external auditors to also report back.
The clause external auditor should be removed. Let's make it as they are coming as independent body. Bring their report. Anybody here can report, can ask them to bring that external report The internal auditor should bring that vote. Let's marry together. But if all of them have been appointed and also supervised by the same person, that is something is wrong somewhere.
Speaker of the House, Danladi Jatto, gave his verdict on the motion.
To give the internal auditor the power to also inform the external auditor that whatever they have done, they have to report to him, to the internal auditor, because he was appointed by the internal auditor. So whatever the external auditor, no matter what he's finding, he is to report back to the internal auditor. So even if there is specification like that, there is nothing wrong.
Among other bills that passes third reading was College of Agriculture, Science and Technology Lafia, Amendment Bill 2020. Also, National State Harmonization and Administration Amendment Bill, which will regulate multi-taxation system in the state and activities of tax defaulters, passed third reading. In Lafia, Adams Abdulkadri, NTA News.
And from Kaduna State, member representing Jaba State constituency and chairman House Committee on Information, Henry Mara, has called for the creation of the Kaduna State Ministry of Water Resources to effectively address the problem of water shortages. He stated this while reacting to the report of an ad hoc committee set up to investigate the problem of water shortages in Kaura, Ikara, and Jaba State constituencies during plenary.
The menace of contaminated water used for domestic purposes is common among rural communities. To address these challenges, a motion was moved during plenary session at the Kaduna State House of Assembly on how to come up with a lasting solution to shortages of potable water in Kaura, Ikara, and Jaba constituencies and Kaduna State at large. This led to the composition of an ad hoc committee to investigate the problem of water shortages in these constituencies and report back to the House.
The transformer, which serve as the alternative source of power supply to treatment plant, develop multiple problems.
We want to call on the Kaduna State government to join other states and create the Ministry for Water Resources as it is to be, so that more and better attention will be given to that ministry for the provision of potable water.
Findings of the ad hoc committee reveals that the water treatment plants at Manchok, in Kaura and Kwai in Jaba constituencies are not functioning for the past 3 months and 3 years due to overload on the power supply plant.
Fortunately, in the course of our work as a committee, the ministry that is saddled with the responsibility of seeing the activities of CASWAC, in collaboration with CASWAC, swung into action.
Most of these water disease, the disease we have comes from waterborne disease. So if we can fix our water system very well, it will equally reduce this typhoid and all these kind of diseases that you see in our communities today.
Also, a bill for a law to establish the Kaduna State Electrification Agency 2024 scaled through second reading and was therefore referred to the Committee on Public Works and Infrastructure for in-depth study. In Kaduna, Adamu Sunday, NTA News.
And to Sokoto, the seat of the Caliphate. Concerned by the economic hardship in the country, the Sokoto State House of Assembly has called on the state government to consider the extension of the Ramadan feeding centers to all the 23 local government areas in the state. The House resolution was made by the Speaker, Tukuru Bala Odinga, after a presentation of matter of urgent public importance at plenary. Nuruddin Abdullahi Adili filed in the report.
Member representing Tambuwal East, Bashir Isa Sarkin Yaki, stated that Sokoto State Government has been providing Ramadan packages mostly in the state capitals and its environs to enable the less privileged break their fast with ease, and stresses the need to extend the gesture to cover all the 23 local government areas in the state. The program, the lawmaker noted, has impacted positively on the lives of the beneficiaries, considering the hardship being faced by many people in the country, particularly in the rural areas, which was caused by the high cost of foodstuffs and other essential commodities, makes life difficult to many families to afford a meal to break their fast. If the program is extended all over the state, it will go a long way in cushioning the effect of the high cost of living.
There is need for us to ensure that
we do everything possible to make sure that we bring succor to our people.
Members who contributed in support of the matter underscored the importance of extending this gesture to every local government area in the state.
I call on my colleagues to support and call the state government to extend the feeding center to local government to ease the suffering of our constituents.
It will reduce hardship or economic hardship faced by our constituents so that it improve their social well-being and also go a long way in achieving 9-point agenda of His Excellency.
The Speaker, Tukurbala Bodinga, announces the House unanimous resolve to call on the state government as a matter of urgency to consider the extension of the Ramadan feeding centers to all the local government areas in the state. In Sokoto, Nuruddin Abdullah Adili, NTA News.
And now to another cheering news from Kano State, where we hear that the State House of Assembly has made moves for the employment of agile and competent youths into the state civil service with the passage of the State Pension and Gratuity Amendment Bill 2023. Samira Hamisu Shira tells us more.
As for the amendment of the 3 laws began last week. They are the Kano State Pension and Gratuity Amendment Bill 2023, Kano State Assembly Service Commission Bill 2023, and the Kano State Judiciary Funds Management Bill 2023. They were recalled and went through legislative scrutiny before passage this Thursday.
It will be a new dawn for the youth. They will soon start gaining employment into the Kano State because the vacancies these huge people occupied, the huge salaries they were being earning, will give way for Kano State government to recruit and employ more energetic youth into the services.
Though the reduction of the 5 years for Kano civil servants didn't go well with some of them as speculated, Majority Leader Lawal Hussaini said it is necessary with a view to absorb unemployed youths into the scheme for improved service delivery, new innovation and developments. Meanwhile, the House has adopted reports of the Committee on Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs under the leadership of Zubair Hamza Massu on the screening and confirmation of interim management officers for the 44 local government councils, and the Committee on Electoral Matters on the 7 nominees that will pilot the affairs of the electoral body. From the Kano State House of Assembly, Samira Hamisu-Shera, NTA News.
And on that cheering note, we have come to the end of this week's episode of the program from the State Assemblies. Don't forget to follow legislative trends around you on NTA Parliament. Thank you so much for watching, and do join us again on this program. I am Mitaire Ikben. Bye for now.